Yo guys, how you doing? Snow and ice bases can look fantastic on a miniature, but how do you go the extra mile and get snow that looks like snow, and of course add things like icicles, stalagmites and stalactites to your miniature? Maybe you want something like this? Well, let me show you how to do it right now. First thing you're going to need to obviously do is finish painting your miniature. Now on the base we've got some powders down there. We've tied the miniature into the base like you would have seen me do in some of my other tutorial videos. That's step one. Step two is make some icicles. We're going to need some plastic shot glasses, essentially anything that you don't mind possibly ruining with a nice flat surface at the top of that. We're going to need a UV torch, a black light bulb torch. Got this one from Green Stuff World. Make sure the batteries are fully charged. It's going to make it much quicker to dry your next thing you're going to need, which is this UV transparent resin from Green Stuff World. Now this stuff dries completely transparent. Between this, the torch and that shot glass, let's make some icicles. So all you're going to need to do is take your shot glass, get your torch ready to go, shine it on the surface, and then add some of this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let a little out of the spout and then slowly draw that upwards. You'll see me doing it, just a little bit of a wiggle as it's coming up. Bam, there's our first icicle. Just knock this little bit off the cap, stop that from drying in there, and have a look now. Now that smoke that's coming up, you're going to need to wear a mask and you're going to want to work in a well ventilated area, but that is our icicle. Now while this is drying with the torch, if you'd like to join me over on Patreon or live on Twitch 4 days a week, you can see more tutorials exactly like this. Ask any questions in real time. Twitch.tv/Mohawk Miniatures and Patreon.com/Mohawk Miniatures for more. Once you've dried that down using the torch, make sure it's cured fully. Just do it again and again. You can make big ones, little ones, fat ones, thin ones, and if you've got any that, like this, ended up with a little bit of a crazy thing hanging on the top, just clip it off. Be careful with it. This stuff will spout all over your room, so get some goggles on should you need them for safety, but then just clip those away. Once you've done that, save anything you clipped off, because I'm going to show you how to attach this to that large gigantic stalagmite that we're making. Grab yourself some tweezers, get a little of this transparent UV resin on the bottom of your little icicle you've made there, just a little bit, don't need a lot, and then position this where you'd like it to go on your stalagmite. Now we're going to use that torch to dry it down a little like glue. Forgive my little placing there, a little tricky trying to get it all on film as well, but look how fast this dries, quicker than super glue. Now we've got a really weak joint there and we want to reinforce that. So I'm just going to put another drop of this UV resin on that area, tilt this, let it run into place, get it down around the bottom of that icicle, and then bam, immediately dry that in place. As soon as the torchlight hits it, it starts to harden up, stops it running. Maybe you want to add in another icicle, so here's me creating another one straight on that pole. Boom, job done. Look at that, super quick, super easy. It takes a while to get the hang of, but once you have, look at the results that you're going to get from this. Crystal clear, really shiny. These genuinely look like ice. Can't ask for a better effect than that. This is a bit of a crazy one, but I want to do something specific with it, and I'll show you what's going on with that very shortly. Once you've got all of your icicles made, just gently snap them off. Now use your fingers at the base of them, right in towards the top. They are quite tough, but obviously with enough force they will snap. Separate all of those, and then let's start putting them in place on your mini. So find where you'd like it to go on the miniature. Make sure you've got a rough idea of the angle it's going to be finishing off at. And then again, you might have guessed it already, let's use some more of that UV resin. I've got a little bit on the base here and there to level some areas of it out, ready for our next effect. But if we drop that little icicle in there, and then just as before, once it's in place, take our torch and seal it in. It's simple as that. To make the icicles, it does require a little bit of practice, and I would suggest using this resin rather than the cheaper alternative because of the drying speed that it has. But once you've done that and you've got all of that resin dry, just test it out. If it's solidly in place, great. We can crack on with the rest of it. So let's get the rest of them in there. Look at that. Now that big cross-shaped icicle. We have snapped the top off. I'm going to remake that in a bit. What I want to do now is attach an icicle to the warsuit itself. So I'm taking this one of the smaller ones we made earlier on, clipping just the tip off, adding a little bit of that UV resin to the end. And exactly like we've done before, we're going to glue this to the miniature using that UV resin. So let's just position this underneath the front sort of opening of it, dry it in place with some of that resin. Then we're going to get a little of that resin and help reinforce that bond. It looks great, but it's on there super fragile right now. So let's get ourselves a toothpick, add a little bit of resin to that, and then just carefully drop this in, making sure we're paying attention to the absolute point of contact between that icicle and our Invicta warsuit. Put it on there, pack it round, dry it in place with the torch. You guys know the drill by now. Super easy, super simple. Let's do another one right up here at the top. Get a little icicle on that baby roller cage of his. Now we're on to the real hardcore stuff. This is some crushed glass from Secret Weapon Miniatures. This stuff is legit crushed glass. Wear a mask, wear gloves, wear breathing equipment like a mask or something. Get yourself some of this Vallejo still water as well. We use this to put our glass on the base and seal it in place. And let's grab a pipette and one other essential hobby bit of equipment. I use bottle cap. Both of these two things will make this much more accurate. Get your resin in the bottle cap, suck it up with a pipette, and put it on the base where you'd like your snow to go. Now, bear in mind, this stuff is super liquid, and it will spill out over the sides of the base if you're not careful. But apply it to a small area at a time, get it down there, then take your crushed glass, and again, super carefully. You've got to respect this product. This is something that can be very dangerous. Just get this in the area that you've put that resin down in. Leave that to set for a second or two, shake off some excess, and then once you've done all of that, you've got the whole base covered. Next thing to do is just take a little bit more of that resin and just tiny dots here and there, seal all of that in. The last thing you want is to start to come off on your hands when you're playing your toy soldier games. There you go. That's all sealed down. Leave this to dry. It looks very matte now. It looks like slush, not snow. But once it's dry, here's how it looks. That is absolutely 100% one of the best snow bases you could get. That looks like proper, fresh, cold-ass snow. Icicles all around. What more could you ask for? I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Like I said, join me on Twitch 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday at 9 PM and Saturdays at 11 AM UK time. Come and find me on patreon.com/Mohawk Miniatures for more tips and tutorials. We'll see you guys there. Peace out.